forget to hit record in this class. So if you know how to make an equivalent fraction, you can do it that way, or you can put it into your calculator. 2 divided by 5 is 0.4 or 4/10. So -4/10 plus 2 3/10. So now we need to remember our integer rules. Close your Chromebook. Yeah, the big light on your face kind of gives it away, man. All right, your signs are different, so you have to find the difference. So we have 2 big minus little, 2.3 minus 0.4. No, we gotta borrow. So 13 minus 4 is 9. Bring down your decimal. 1. Is this going to be positive or negative? Why negative? My bigger number is positive. So my answer is going to be positive. That's my rule for adding and subtracting. Multiplying and dividing, that's different, right? If my signs are different, it's negative. All right. Our method 2 would be to write both addends as fractions. So they wrote 2 3/10 as 2 3/10. They changed -2/5 to 4/10, and they changed 2 3/10. They said 10 times 2 is 20 plus 3 is 23. So 23/10 there. So we are here. 10 times the 2 is 20 plus the 3 is 23. So now we have common denominators. So they have different signs. So they took big minus little. So 23 minus 4 is 19/10. If we take 1 out, is 1 9/10, right? Which is 1 9/10. Do you see that? It should be easy to go from base 10 if we have them in tenths or fractions in tenths, okay? So we have a check here. This is a terminating decimal when you change it to decimals, so you can change them both to decimals, or you can change them both to fractions and find common denominators and add or subtract them. In this case, because your signs are different, you're going to find the difference. Okay, so try that check there. Yeah. There's way too much talking for you to be trying this right now. Turn your voices off and try this. This is where you practice. The check on 189. Okay, did you decide to change them to decimals or fractions? Decimals? So 2/5 we just learned was 4/10, or in other words, 4/10. Can we please be quiet? 4/10 plus negative 7/500. Our signs are different, so we have to find the difference. What'd you do?
Well, probably. So I started off making 2/5, 0.25.
Well, that would be wrong.
So then I ended it with 0.75, and I got 0.0.
So we can't just change this to a decimal by putting a decimal in front of the two numbers, right? We have to change it to a base of 10, or that fraction bar means divided by, so we can take top divided by the bottom. So that's why we just reviewed how we change fractions to a decimal, so try and stay with us, right? So here, our bigger number is this 0.7, because as we go from left to right, 7 is bigger than 4, right? And our signs are different, so we're finding the difference. So hopefully you got 3,500. Yes?
Yeah.
But is it positive or negative? Negative, because our bigger number this time was negative. So you do have to be careful there. That does make it a bit trickier.
I don't know how I got.
Now, if you changed this into a fraction, you would have 2/5 plus negative 3/4, because 7/500, excuse me, you can divide them both by 25 and get 3/4. Now you would have to find common denominators, which would be like 20 and 20. Her stuff is all on that desk right there.
No, it's right there. It's basically everything. It makes it.
Thank you, Peyton. So something out of 20 plus negative something out of 20. What do we multiply the 5 by to get 20? What do I multiply a 5 by to get 20? 4. So the top gets multiplied by 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus a negative. What do I multiply the 4 by to get 20?
4.
5. So what is 3 times 5? 15. Sorry. Ignore this over here. So I have 8/20 plus negative 15/20. That's what was going on over there. My signs are different. Look at your numerators. Your signs are different. Here's adding and subtracting integers, right? Hopefully you learned that. If not, you need to go back and practice. We take big minus little. Girls, doodling is not going to help you. Big minus little, since our signs are different. So I have 7/20. 7/20, and it's negative because my 15 was bigger than my 8. Negative 7/20 as a fraction, I'm sorry, as a decimal looks like negative 35 hundredths, because if I wanted to change this to hundredths, I would multiply by 5, negative 35 hundredths, and that would be written as a decimal like this. Sorry, starting to nerd out, I'll stop. All right, now on page 190, we have some rational numbers, some fractions that are not terminating. If they're not terminating, we have to use them as fractions. We can't change them to decimals. If they're repeating, we have to keep them as fractions and change our decimal to a fraction. So that's what we're doing here. Cameron. So we have to rewrite everything as improper fractions. So this is 25 cents is a quarter, right? 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. They rewrote this as 5/4. Then we have 1/3 and we have 7/8. So they found a common denominator. This definitely gets much trickier, right? So a common denominator of 4 and 3 would be 12. So then I need a common denominator of 12 and 8, which is, they did it for you, 24. So then they asked, what times 4 is 24? 6, right? So they multiplied the 5 by 6 to get 30. What times 3 is 24? 8. So they multiplied the 1 by 8 to get 8. Then what times 8 is 24? 3. So they multiplied 7 by 3 to get 21. Then they put them all the numerators on top, because that's what we're combining. Once we have the same denominator, we're just adding up the numerators. They used the associative property and added up the negatives first. So we got a big negative number. When your signs are the same, you find the sum, right? So negative 8 plus negative 21, that's how they got negative 29. 30 plus negative 29 is just 1. That's where they got 1/24. So the sum of this is 1/24. We didn't have to do a whole lot of work there. So here we need to rewrite these as fractions. Okay, but all we do is hear you, and it's distracting, okay? So if you could be quiet, that would be great. So negative 1/6, if you put that into your calculator, it's a repeating decimal. So we have to change them all to fractions. I could read this as 2/10. 2/10 can be simplified to what? They're both even. So I can divide them by 2. So I have negative 1/6 plus 1/5 plus 2 5/9. Man, that's ugly. We have to find common denominators, which is ugly, right? Well, let's see. 6 times 5 is 54, and that's not a multiple of 5. 6 times 9, sorry. I'm trying to think of the multiples of 9. So
9, 8, 9 times 7.
it has to be even. 6 goes into 18. What's 18 times 5? 90. Does 6 go into 90?
Wait, 9 times 5?
It's 90. 90?
Yeah,
90 works. All right, 6 times what is 90? If you're not sure, say 90 divided by 6, 15. So 1 times 15 is just 15, and this is negative. I am 90 divided by 5. So 18 times 5. So I have plus 18 90ths. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23 ninths. We have to multiply that by 10.
23 times 10.
Yes. So 230 90ths. So look at these first two. 18 minus 15 is 3. 3 plus this is 233 90ths. It is. So I can take how many groups of 90? 2 would be 180. So again, you can use your calculator. Feel free. 233 minus 180 gives me a remainder of 53 90ths. I don't think 53 is a multiple of 3. Nope, it's not. So I think that's as simplified as it gets. Hell, that is ugly. Why would they do that to us? It's all good. All right. Example 7. The lowest recorded elevation in the contiguous United States is 280 feet below sea level, is in Death Valley. Suppose you began a hike in the parking area near Badwater Basin at 266 feet below sea level. The stopping points of the lake and the elevation traveled are shown in the table. So you went down 12.5 feet, you went up 26 3/5 feet, you went down, and then you went up. All right, because the denominators of the mixed number are 2 and 5, it is easy to convert those to decimals. So write all the numbers as decimals. That's what they did. You can use a calculator. They added them all up with their calculator and out came 141.9. So let's see what they're giving us for a check. Because they made this seem really simple, right? They changed these to decimals. Let's see what they give us. Okay, we can do this. 4/8 is 1/2. So negative 66 and 1/2 is the same as negative 66.5. This is 192. I'm not jumping all around, I promise. And here we have 3/4. 3/4 is how many cents? 75 cents. So we're adding these up. Use your calculator. 226.86 plus a negative 66.5. So really you're subtracting. Plus a negative 15.32 plus 172.75. Oh, it's not. You're just using a calculator. 226.86 plus negative 66.5 plus negative 15.32 plus 172.75. And it is in meters.
So 20. Who cares?
Alright, you have about 10 minutes, so we are going to finish up page 195. Page 195. Alright, I'm gonna kind of walk you through. 1/4 is terminating, so you can change these into decimals. 1/3 is repeating. This is page 195. So you have to change these to fractions. You can do this as decimals. This one is repeating though, so you do have to do this as fractions. I will tell you this is -1/4. This is 4 1/10. So 1/3 plus 4 1/10. Practice changing those to decimals.
Fractions, not decimals.
Decimals, you take the top divided by the bottom. So 1 divided by 4.
Oh, probably. What? Go. Scribbling meow meow. Wow. Yeah. No. You're not anymore. You're the two. That's it. I'm gonna say it.